This is how I dance to start a show. Don't do this one though. Don't. Well, that's different. There's this, and then there's this. We don't. We shouldn't do either.
Mega Dads Live is a mature-rated podcast. It's for the Mega Dads, the Mega Moms, but not the Mega Kids. So put on those earmuffs and let's go!
This last week at work, I was going back and doing some research because it's that time where we do our yearly predictions, right? We do our yearly predictions of what we think is going to happen in the world of video games. But before we get there, we have to review our predictions from last year and kind of review how we did. And we were about 50-50. Honestly, this wasn't that bad of a prediction year for us. We're going to go back and forth between your predictions and my predictions, and then we're going to review them on the other side. So we're starting with Antonio. Antonio, your first prediction for 2024.
So if you've noticed, very quickly, the AI is out of the box. There are companies that are releasing different chat bots and different AI functions across websites and products, and they're trying to use it for everything. They are literally scouring, saying, this is power, how do we wield it, and how do we make money off of it? And it's been off the ground very quickly, actually, before any government regulation and whatever happened. People have started just doing it. And it's from AI art to all sorts of planning and marketing. And I think that it's going to make its way into gaming in a new way.
AI makes its way into game design.
Now, so I follow some YouTube channels where these people are talking games kind of like we do, but they very much like kind of are in the know. They are in AI users. They are researching when developers are using AI.
Mm-hmm.
And AI has been at the forefront, right? So we have Apple Intelligence, we got Google Gemini, we have all these things where AI is supposed to sell us the next generation of electronics and hardware, and it's supposed to save us or make us happy or some shit like that.
Yeah.
We're not big fans of AI. I've used it here and there. I've used some Chat GPT.
Mm-hmm.
There's like very problematic things where AI is being used to like create art. Remember that was like a big thing at the start of the year. Like,
yeah, that's terrible. Kind of like there's so many different ways to use it. And I think some of them are very useful.
Sure.
For me, it's like when you're using it to be quote unquote creative, where I'm just like, fuck that bullshit.
Yeah. I created this AI art. Like it took me 14 iterations. Like you didn't do shit. You're just writing prompts. So it's like, it's a brand new world. A lot of us, like, it's new. Like 2 years ago, we weren't talking about this much AI. So I did make the prediction that it was going to be on the uprise. Like it was brand new thing. I didn't see a whole lot of AI being talked about the way that it normally would have. If it was me, I would have put my money that Ubisoft or somebody like that was going to be like, we have this new AI, like kind of like crypto, like where they were going to like do something to market it and say, oh, look, this is new, like a new area and AI made it. And we're making like more content for you because of AI. We're going to give you more incentive to play because of AI. And it didn't happen. I didn't see a whole lot of AI in development.
Where I would give you a little nudge, and I don't know if this was ever really confirmed, but when was it Palworld? Palworld, right?
Oh, Palworld used AI.
When Palworld came out, there was a lot of talk about how they theoretically used AI to rip off the Pokemon, right?
Something like that.
And so I don't know if that was ever truly confirmed, but that was quite a big story at the time, was that everybody was saying that the guys who created Palworld used AI to create these characters. So I'm not sure if this is a correct prediction or a zero for you, but I do know that there was some conversation around that. And we have heard from, like, PlayStation said that they're investing, and everybody says they're investing, but it hasn't really manifested yet. So I'm a little inclined to give you a pass on this one. I'd give it to you because it's definitely happening if it's not super apparent.
Yeah. It's probably behind the scenes. I know that there was a game called The Finals where there was this AI that was voicing what was happening in game in real time. So the announcers were not real people. It was just like a voice, and it was made from like AI, like just like artificial, and it would like kind of tell you, oh, they're doing really well now, but they're behind. They need to do this, and like an announcer would speak contextually about what was changing in the game. So there were things. I just thought that they were gonna gouge us a little bit sooner with this. I think that AI's kind of gone away a little faster than I expected. Because remember when crypto was like the big thing, you NFTs, heard a lot about it. It was red hot, and then it kind of went away. So I don't know if AI is going to be sticking with us, if it's going to make it through 2025 in a big way, the way that we were expecting. But we'll see.
We'll see. My first prediction was I think Switch 2 will be announced in the summer with a November release. And the way that that's connected to what we're talking about is Nintendo had a big year this year, a big year this year, but we don't know anything that's happening as outside of like Princess Peach's magical stage game or whatever.
Yeah.
There's not a lot of big marquee games on the horizon, and then that naturally leads to the thought that they're ramping up for their next thing, right? A big whiff. I said the Switch 2 would be announced in the summer and it would release in November.
That would have been nice.
Neither of those things happened. Nintendo has been very, very quiet. I think all indications are we'll get some sort of announcement in the spring. But boy, I was really sure, because Nintendo's been quiet for a very long time. Nintendo was very quiet when I made this prediction. So I thought it was pretty safe to say, they'd announce it during the Summer Game Fest season, and then we'd see it before the holiday, because typically a hardware launch is either holiday season or in the spring, like right after it. But
the first Switch launched in March of 2017, Adam. So that's a long time.
It is.
It's maybe a long time for...
Yeah, maybe I should have stuck to the original formula and said that it's going to be in March again, because that's probably what it's going to be. But this goes hand in hand with your second prediction.
I want to say that the Switch 2 or whatever it is going to underwhelm, and that this is going to be one of those hubris swings where things were going so great, and then they try something that's just doesn't land.
You said that the Switch 2 was going to grossly underperform and be an underwhelming piece of crap. Do you still think that's true?
I think so, because think of this. You have the Switch 2, we know it has been whatever the Switch 2 is going to be for quite a while already. That's what I believe, because from the rumors and everything was like, if they really wanted to, let's just say, it could have been ready a full year ago, is what we're thinking. Like, it has the specs that it was going to have. It has, everything there. So typically when something like Starfield's development, for instance, you have these grand ambitions, you have this technology of the platform, and you start building, then it takes way too long to actually come out. And then by the time it comes out, it feels dated.
Yeah.
So now the Switch 2 is going to, instead of going up against, the Xbox Series X and S and PlayStation 5, now they're going to be going up against the PlayStation 5 Pro or even the next generation. And now you're going to have a Switch 2 competing against, the top of the line hardware from PlayStation or Xbox in a year or two. I don't think it's going to be more than 2 years before we get another Xbox, another PlayStation, because they're coming up now at the end of their life cycle.
God, so I just can't even. Ugh. Do you think
it's possible?
Do you really think? I mean, God, you're right. Like, historically speaking, the lifespan of these platforms, but God, it feels like we've just gotten started, doesn't it?
Well, let's see. When did the Xbox Series X release? We are looking at 2020. So it's 2025. So it's been they're not going to go more than 7 years. So a year or two max, you're going to have Switch 2 against the PlayStation 6 or whatever.
Oh my God.
I guess. So tell me how that's going to work out, Adam, for Nintendo. They're going to have a gimmick, or they're going to have something, right, to make it the Switch 2. And they're in between a rock and a hard place, because it's like, we want to capitalize and be backwards compatible, which I think was confirmed. We want to like have Switch in the DNA, but Nintendo will always do something Nintendo and unexpected and gimmicky. So it's like, I don't think that Nintendo is beyond fault. So I think that they could swing and miss at some point. Everyone does. So that's where I'll leave it. Is Switch 2 could be lackluster, but we'll see.
I was thinking about this as I was drawing these show notes together, and it dawned on me that you had the Wii, which was like a mega hit, right?
Yeah.
And then they made the mistake of making Wii U kind of like ubiquitous. Like people didn't know if it was new or a half step. And I wonder if they're thinking at Nintendo, like, how do we straddle this line of we want it to be, very closely aligned with Switch because Switch was so successful, but they don't want to repeat that mistake. They want it to be its own thing. It's got to be interesting conversations happening at Nintendo.
Quick question for you, Adam. I think that the launch lineup of Switch 2 is going to be huge. Let's say, because I was talking to people about this, about what's going to get you to buy a system like right away, let's say. People are saying Mario Odyssey 2. You think Mario Odyssey 2 is a system seller for the Switch 2?
I think,
it's not going to be a
Mario,
Zelda game.
so it is. It's Mario, so it is.
Okay.
But I think a more exciting prospect would be, it's been 2 console generations since we've had a new Mario Kart. If they launched Switch 2 with a Mario Kart 9, it's going to absolutely crush ass, right?
It would have to be all new tracks, like none of this like rehashing.
They did an all new Mario Kart, that would sell like fucking crazy. Because Mario Kart 8 has been just like, it's like their Grand Theft Auto.
Forever.
It just keeps selling. It just keeps selling forever.
Yeah.
So I think that's an exciting prospect. To me, I would want an Animal Crossing sequel. That was a huge hit for them during COVID.
Oh, me too.
That would be a smart play. I think Mario is an easy layup. Like it would sell. I don't know if it's going to be as big as one of those, but I don't know. I'm excited. I'm personally excited. Just curious more than anything, right? Like, what do they do? My next prediction was also another swing and a miss. Tomb Raider is going to have a very big year.
What?
We're kicking off Tomb Raider in February, the remastered trilogy, which I'm very excited about. The first 3 Tomb Raider games are getting re-released on modern consoles. We know that both Netflix and Amazon are creating Tomb Raider film properties. There's like a Netflix anime, there is a Amazon Prime live action show, and an Amazon movie, like a full featured film in development. Lara Croft has recently been added to Call of Duty and Magic the Gathering, of all things. So like there's like a push on Tomb Raider right now in a weird way, and kind of like a background way, but we're also quite a ways out from Shadow of the Tomb Raider. Crystal Dynamics has been cooking on the next game for quite a while, and I think we're going to get an announcement of that game this year. I thought for sure we were going to get an announcement of the next Tomb Raider game. Instead, we got a Netflix series. We got a couple. We got a remastered trilogy and an announcement of another remastered trilogy. We got talk about Amazon Prime show. We got basically everything around Tomb Raider except the next chapter in the game series proper, which, damn, I thought that was another shoo-in. I thought for sure we would hear by now the next Tomb Raider game. It's been a long time since Shadow of the Tomb Raider.
What are you gonna do, Adam? Give me the Tomb Raider. Where's
sad.
Lara Croft?
I'm gonna be sad is what I'm gonna do. But your third and final prediction, you absolutely crushed.
VR is gonna be making a big leap forward on all fronts. What's gonna happen is they're finally gonna come to their senses, and things are gonna start getting sideloaded, jailbroken, whatever you want to call it, and they're going to start kind of taking the iron claw off and saying, okay, we're not going to grip this so tight. The ecosystems are going to open right at a good time where the software and the games and experiences, the level's going to be propped up. Thank God that people have continued to invest and didn't quit, and the right players are going to make moves at the right time. I believe, I'm hoping, this is the hope part of it, that these platforms do a Game Pass-like thing.
You knocked this out of the park. Your third prediction was VR makes big strides with more multi-platform games and a subscription service for Meta, which just was announced, like, I think 3 months ago. Like, exactly what you were saying they should do. Meta Plus, which is basically like their Game Pass. And then we've seen more kind of cross-pollination with multi-platform games on VR, big titles. We've seen PlayStation VR get their Steam link-up cable kind of thing. There's ways to play more games on more platforms. You couldn't have been more on point with this, which is surprising to me because you are a I don't know if I would say a doom and gloom guy with VR, but you are you're pragmatic in your views on VR, that you just don't think it's really going to take off. But you were right here.
VR has such potential. We all know this, and there are some gems, but a lot of the games are more experiences, and we knew this. So they've just announced, well, very recently, $7.99 a month or $60 a year. You can get MetaQuest Plus with a revolving catalog of games that you can play instantly, plus 2 curated titles every month. So you're saving money and you're playing the games with this VR subscription. And it has things like Walkabout Mini Golf, Onward, The Climb, Demio. Very, very good games. And this is exactly what they needed, because if you're going to invest a pretty high price tag anytime you're buying a console or hardware, you're like, okay, but what am I gonna play? And now you have it. So I'm very happy that they've done this. The price of the Quest, the MetaQuest 3 is, I think, like $400-$500, and then the MetaQuest 3S is kind of a slightly downgraded version that I'm told holds up very well. And then you have new games like the Batman game for the Arkham Batman game that came out that I tried recently at my buddy Clay's house.
Did you?
The combat is like very much like the Arkham games, where it's like pop, pop, pop. Like you have to hit the timed buttons, and you're moving your fists, and you're like jab, 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 and then throw this, and then like fly over to the other guy, and then you're like climbing and going through the tops of the grates and stuff. And it's very immersive. It's very good. It's what I would want in a Batman game. So that, like, there's good experiences out there, good games. The price is creeping down. The quality is still, really good. It's on my Christmas wish list is a MetaQuest 3 or 3S. It would be great. I think it's a platform worth investing in if you like those cool experiences. There's nothing like VR. It's just a matter of, do you have enough to play, and is it worth it in a value sense?
Yeah, I think that they are in a great position, Meta. Like, people are buzzing about it, and they've got an edition of it, like you said, the 3S, where it's like, that's reasonable. $300 is reasonable.
Yeah. It's reasonable.
You've got knockout title and you're packed in with Batman, right? Like, I think a lot of people are going to get that under their tree. So I'm excited. I think VR success for one platform is VR success for all of them. So I'm hoping that, high tides will raise all ships, as they say, and that VR has a really good year next year. My final prediction, I also nailed. Good. My final prediction is that we get an announcement for the sequel to Ghosts of Tsushima this year. It will be 4 years this summer since that game released, and a typical PlayStation Studio development cycle is somewhere in the area of 5 years. So if they announce it this year, it releases next. I think that timeline is right, where we will get hopefully news about the sequel to that game, because as one of PlayStation's best IP in a long time, it is so good.
It's really good. And like, there is another Mongol invasion like a couple years after that one.
Spoiler alert for history buffs out there. You already know.
like it's there if they want to do it again. But
is that game on PC?
I don't think so.
So here we go. They'll announce it's going to get a PC port, because that's what they do now, right? Going to get a PC port, and then they'll announce that the sequel's coming. Both of those things happened this year, and I am very excited for Ghost of Yotai to hear more information about that game.
It's going to be huge.
It's going to be huge. It's just another PlayStation is kind of trickling out their forecast, the games that are coming out. We know that Wolverine is on the horizon, but it's been quiet there for a long time. This was an announcement of a game that they say is coming next year. I don't know if I believe that. I'm inclined to think that this thing is going to get delayed at least once or twice, but very excited for more Ghost of Blank in this franchise. I'm very excited. Super great games. All right. Now, before we get out of here, I want to talk about a game that I got a code for from our friends at Nintendo. It is a 4-player cooperative experience, which, of course, I love in my house. Super Mario Party Jamboree for the Nintendo Switch. Now, I am a guy who has not been all over Mario Party over the years. Like, I've played one here and there, but I don't pick every one of them up. And so I'm not a person that's going to point out one or the other as being better or worse. I know a lot of people that are super into this series and say, well, this one wasn't great because of the board selection, or this one was better because of their minigame selection. They're kind of all the same to me. Yeah. However, I did pick up the previous Super Mario Party. I believe it's called Superstar or Star something or another.
There's been so many.
There's been so many. We had it for the Switch, and me and my family play it pretty regularly. And as with all these games, it gets old, right? As soon as you start doing the same mini games over and over, it starts to get old. So when they announced this Mario Party Jamboree, I was excited just because it was going to be more. It was going to be a more diverse selection. I was excited about that. Nintendo sent us a code. We've been playing with it. And the buzz around the internet is this is like one of the best Mario parties in years.
Yeah.
I can't really speak to that because, like I said, I haven't been playing it throughout the years, but I will say it's notably better than the previous one. The mini games are really exciting. They're more diverse. The character selection is much more robust. You can be characters like Marty Mole, the big fat mole guy that jumps out of the ground. The spiky guy that spits out the spinies from Super Mario Brothers 3. You can be him. And of course, you can be my favorite, Waluigi. Really great levels. Really great boards. There's like one where you're in a shopping mall and there's a lot more elevation. So you're taking like the elevators and the escalators up, and all the shops where you buy your items are actually shops in the mall. There are events that happen where every like 10 rolls there'll be a sale, a flash sale, and all these Shy Guys and Goombas come running into the map, and all the items are half off, and the stars are half off when you get to the star. You know, for people who don't know, Mario Party it's a board game. It's a video board game. You roll the dice, you move your character around the board, you collect stars and coins and items, and after everybody has rolled, you do mini games that are usually like competitive, and they're all very, very, very diverse. I'm not even going to bother to explain what they are because every one of them is completely different. But the whole point is you want to get the most stars at the end of your turns, and you want to win the board game. Really cool. It's just really creative, a lot more variety. There's a level where you're actually on a Mario Kart track. So instead of walking across the board, you're in a car.
That's awesome.
And so you're driving around.
That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah, it's just like that little variety and that little injection of diversity that the last game didn't have. Last game was just pretty basic boards, but this one the differences in the levels actually have unique applications to the gameplay. So in the Mario Kart level, you get items that will like double your speed. And so you'll go super fast around the track, and then you can go into the pit stop and get extra items. So each board feels more unique than they did in the last game. It's a great time, and it's a perfect game for the holidays. Like, this is a really good game to get the family around and just play with your kids and with your aunts or your uncles or your grandma. I'll probably be playing this with grandma at Christmas. Really good time. Have you ever been into the Mario Party series?
Oh, yeah. Mario Party, the virtual board game, playing the mini games in a party environment is awesome. I bought the first Mario Party that came out on Switch, or was it the second one? There have been quite a few versions that have come out on this console gen, and it didn't have online play. It had I think it had limited online play. Like, you couldn't play the board game with people who weren't playing couch co-op with you. So not being able to play with buddies online was disappointing. Like, I think it lets you do like a subset of mini games. It's like first to 5 wins. I'm like, that's not what I want. I want to play the board game with people. And then they got stingy with their online capabilities, and then this version I think you can, and other versions, or it was patched in later to another version, and it's like it's always been lacking something. It's always been like ups and downs. People have their favorites. Are the games fresh? Are they intuitive? Are the boards, like the variety, like all of that. So there's a lot that can go into a good or bad Mario Party game, and I'm very interested in this one because people are speaking so highly of it, and it's a good fun experience when you have people over, so that's good.
We brought the Switch over to the in-laws. We went out of town, and my daughter brought the Switch with. We didn't bring a dock, so it was just the Switch, and she did the little kickstand thing. We set it at Grandma's table.
It works.
We popped off the Joy-Cons. You do that weird thing where you're holding the Joy-Con sideways, and you feel like a fucking giant or whatever. But I'm not a guy that I don't play my Switch undocked. Like, I just dock it and forget it, right? But every once in a while I get these moments where it's like, oh, I kind of get it. Like, I get why this is such a good fit for families, right? You throw that thing in the car, the kids are in the back seat, they're playing with it handheld. You get to Grandma's house, you set it with a kickstand, you pop the Joy-Cons off, you're playing multiplayer on basically just a little travel TV. Like, it's just it's clever, right? Like, I get it every once in a while. Like, as a hardcore gamer that likes my Horizons and my Gods of War and stuff, I don't go to the Switch very often. But every once in a while, as a dad, like, I look at this device and I'm like, I get it. Like, I get what they're going for. And Mario Party is, it's kind of like the embodiment of that, of family fun. This is what Nintendo is best at. And they did a really good job with Mario Party Jamboree.
Yep.
That sound is the caboose, where we give you a recommendation of something outside of the world of games to close out the show. My recommendation, in our last show of the year, is to set a goal or a resolution for yourself. Like, this is the time for New Year's resolutions. People oftentimes will do the health kick. I'm going to drink less, or I'm going to eat less, or I'm going to be fit. And I think that's all well and good. But I'm a very goal-oriented person. Like, I like to project where I want to be in 6 months. I do it here with Mega Dads every year. I set a goal of where I want Mega Dads to be at the end of the year. And I think that's kind of a good thing to do internally, just for everybody.
Absolutely.
Whether it's like you want to work on your mental health. Maybe you want to work at having more time with your spouse. Get outside more. Try something different. Whatever it is, I just think that's really important to do as people, and you don't have to wait till New Year's to do it, but this is obviously the best time for everybody's front of mind of like, how do I want to be next year? And with 2024 having been a complete dumpster fire, and walking into God knows what when Donald Trump takes office, like, there's gonna be so much chaos in our life that we cannot control, that we will have no control over whatsoever. But what we do have control of is ourselves and what we do in our own homes with our families. And so set a personal goal that is going to prioritize what's most important, you and your family. I think that's super important to do.
Yeah, easier said than done, right? But such good advice is to, focus on what you can control. And that's something that I listening to a podcast recently, and somebody was like, none of this is up to you. Like, there are so many things that you'll encounter, so many things, events and things in life. And then if you just realize that even if you wanted to, you don't have the power to change, that kind of frees you up a little bit and says, okay, it's not my job to be the one to worry about this. It's someone else's. Not to say that you shouldn't do your part and, be plugged in. But sometimes you have to have healthy boundaries, and you have to look out for what's best for you. So 2025, my personal promise is that because I need it myself, I'm going to try to be positive, trying to focus on the things that we can control. And Mega Dads is here for you because we want to have a healthy community that supports each other, which we have throughout this whole year. And we want to continue to do that. Join the Mega Dads Discord. The link is in the YouTube description. If you look at Mega Dads on YouTube, search that, and then look in any of the video descriptions, and you'll see a link. And you can chat with us, and you can hang out, and you can have a supportive community. If you want to talk about games or your life and vent or do whatever, 2025 is going to be the year of the Mega Dads community.
I think that we need to end this episode with some wild Hypecaster energy, right? You're going to bring the energy. I think you need to do something crazy to bring us out. What are you going to do?
Oh, my God.
Oh, here he goes. Oh, he's standing up. He's taking his shirt off. Oh, shit. Oh, I saw a nipple. Oh, my God. We're going to get banned. Oh, my God.
This is the look.
You've got like
2025.
You've got like this pixie,
the
like
cut off. What do you call this when you're
hot?
When your shoulders are exposed.
Hot. You kind of look like a baby being birthed right now.
That's what I got for you.
Thanks for joining us this year.
This is still toss. This is still terms of service.
We'll see you guys next time. I'm sorry. This program is powered by Megadad's Boost, our public support program. You can join at patreon.com/Megadads. For over 10 years, Megadads has been bringing you the best in podcasts, reviews, interviews, family fun, and so much more. As an independent media organization, we rely on audience members like you to help support what we do, to ensure that Megadads can continue to bring you the great content that you enjoy. If you've been watching, listening, or playing along through the years, please consider lending your support by becoming a member of Megadads Boost. Memberships start for as little as $1 a month, and you can start collecting your Boost rewards from day one. Rewards like art cards, early access podcasts, reviews, gameplay clips, and so much more. Please visit patreon.com/Megadads and become a member today.